Michigan got a big win. No losses for the Wolverines lately, just a big win. The biggest horned frog I know, Carter Elliott, is here to help us break down Michigan's 81-46 Big Ten basketball win.
Wow.
Cart, you and I just recorded an episode of Unscripted, our Michigan State podcast. You should go listen to that. If you're a hater of Michigan State, if you're a lover of Michigan State, either way, you should go listen to it. A lot of Michigan State preview in that. That's going to come out, I believe, sometime Monday. But we're here to talk about Michigan. And Cart, you in our Unscripted episode, you talked quite a bit about how good Michigan State is, how they can contend in the Big Ten. We also talked about how Michigan State just recorded their first 20-point win of the season against a MAC school, and you were very impressed with that result. It was pretty good. Michigan went out and beat a Big Ten team that has some pretty impressive wins this year by 35 points today. Pretty impressive result for a team that you declared dead less than 4 days ago when they lost to Central Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still dead?
Yes.
Michigan basketball is dead after an 81-46 win against Maryland.
Yes, they are. This is a classic trick you. We're not focusing in on one game. We got to look at the whole body of work. This is a team that has effort issues, defensive breakdowns.
I might have to, I know we're recording this live, but I might demand that you go write your Michigan State article and then you watch the Matthew Loves Ball of this, and then we come back and record this in the morning, because they didn't have any of that today.
Okay, but that's one game.
Right. But it's the game we're talking about.
So it's not okay, but all right. So if we're just focusing on what happened today, yeah, Michigan's a Big Ten contender if they play like they did today.
So they can't be dead if they're 2 games into the Big Ten season. They're 2-0, and they played the way they did today, and we're declaring the team dead because they had effort issues against Central Michigan.
Yeah, they're trying to trick you. We know what this team is.
They're 2-0 in the Big Ten. Doesn't that matter?
They're 2-0 in a conference that we come on here and say constantly stinks.
Does it not matter despite all of that, despite all of the issues, the problems?
What was that team supposed to? Okay, so is this what the angle you're taking? If they came out and lost today, the team's officially dead.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, I said, look, I do my daily picks. I do my daily picks gambling video every single day, right? I came out, you're in a group text that I sent this to. The first pick today was Michigan moneyline. I sent this to a group text. I said, this is the play of the year. My New Year's gift to you is Michigan moneyline. I don't say this to brag, but the fact that this opened up as a pick'em when everybody thought on paper Maryland's a better team, but in reality, Maryland's been worse than Michigan for the last month. According to Torvik, KenPom, anything, if you sort by just the last month of basketball, even in spite of Michigan's loss to Central Michigan, Maryland's been worse than them. This is a Kevin Willard team. So, I don't want to give Michigan a bunch of credit. I don't want to come on here and say,
you don't want to give Michigan a bunch of credit, as all you've done so far is give them credit.
Because I think calling them dead's insane. It's as insane as the 6 texts I got from various Michigan State people saying, you think Juwan Howard's still the coach in a year? Yeah, I do, motherfuckers. He's 2-0 in the Big Ten. How about maybe we go one NCAA tournament without him making a second weekend before we ask if he's going to be fired? Is that fair?
You're very easily bought.
I'm easily bought by a 35-point Big Ten win?
You're easily bought because one, and you know what? I'm probably a prisoner of the same goddamn thing, but we're not going to talk about struggling with Lipscomb. We're not going to talk about losing to a bad North Carolina team. We're not going to talk about we can name off all these other losses that you could. I mean, you had a fucking dogfight against IPFW or whatever it was.
They've had one bad loss. They've had one bad loss in the year. Central Michigan's a horrible loss. They've had no good wins until today.
I would say the North Carolina's a bad loss.
I wouldn't. I understand your angle. You can make an argument.
We're not doing that. I'm deading make an argument.
I don't think North Carolina is a bad loss.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll let you make a point for that. But yes, it might be an overreaction that this team is dead. I think that on life. I think that I think me and you are sitting by the bed and they asked us like the hard question if we want to make the decision whether to pull the plug or not on this team. I'm pulling it. Maybe you want to keep them kicking, keep the feeding tube inserted, see if they can maybe make a comeback. But I just don't see it with this basketball team. The best player, I'm pretty sure, doesn't even like basketball anymore. So
saying you don't see it with this team is a much different thing than saying they're dead, though. That's
okay.
like I'm willing to have the conversation with you and potentially agree with you that I don't like the way this team is structured. I don't like the way Hunter Dickinson is behaving. I don't like the leadership. I don't like the defense. There's a bunch of things we've already said and had plenty of conversations on our channel. You can go back and watch that we don't like about Michigan. Saying they're dead after they very clearly were dead 4 days ago. This was like, okay, they're on life support. We think they're dead. They're in a coma. All of a sudden today, they shot up and their eyes opened up, Cart. There were vitals. There were lines going up and down. And you can't call a team dead when they just shot up like this. Like that's the only reason I'm being so combative and pushing back is like, yeah, they were dead 4 days ago. And then they just came and blew out a Big Ten. I think that's the largest Big Ten win of the season from any team. So, like,
Okay, but to that point, Greg, was this not a game that you expect to win? I mean, you're the one who called it. I mean, so what was it the fashion that the win came in, and the fact that it was the biggest, conference? What'd you say? Conference win?
it was that. I think a lot of the critiques that we have had for Michigan on why we don't believe this team can do what last year's team did, by the way, which again, last year started the season 7-7. Last year's Michigan team was 7-7, 1-3 in the Big Ten. Cart. This year's Michigan team is 8-5, 2-0 in the Big Ten. So if we're acting like team's dead, last year's team was much more dead results wise than this year's Michigan team is. The critiques we had of the defense has been horrible. That was much better today. And we've talked about effort. Like Jet Howard was boxing out today. It's the first time I've noticed that all season. I know that sounds ridiculous, but like these are the types of elementary mistakes that we've said, like Michigan has no heart. Today they had heart, Cart. Maryland scored 13 points in the first half.
That was crazy. That was a dog walking. I will say that. That's crazy. And for all the stuff we talk about, like Kevin Willard and basically him being, bald Mark Turgeon, that's an impressive, very impressive win, a very dominating win. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, the point is, with how bad Michigan was 4 days ago, it would not have surprised us if this exact result flipped, right? Like, even though I came in and said, like, this is the play of the year, I like Michigan money line today. Given how bad they are, like, really, if Michigan lost by 30, are we that shocked because they don't play defense? Yes. They don't try?
Yeah, I am. I am, because they're coming off the loss to Central Michigan, and TCU beat your football team the night before. This was the must win of all must win in Michigan history. Imagine the fan base if this game was a loss.
The fans don't care. I bet most of the fan base didn't watch this. They swore off Michigan sports after the TCU loss. They don't have basketball fans, Card. I'm the only basketball fan that exists. And whoever watches our videos, I guess, but like there's probably a lot of people who watch our videos and that's all the Michigan basketball they get. They don't
Please respect Chad Cutler on this podcast.
You're right. Chad Cutler, the only text I got from him today was a comparison between Blake Corum and Isaiah Livers, though, and said, man, what could have been? And I told him that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I guess I'm confused. This is not how I expected this Michigan video to go. I'm confused on your stance. I'm still really hung up on the they're dead thing because I think.
Can I backpedal on the they're dead?
Do we allow backpedaling on the Sleepers podcast?
I think it's just me being transparent and maybe realizing I made a mistake.
Oh, then yeah, sure.
Okay. I don't think this team is dead. I guess speaking like in the moment as of 9:07 p.m. on January 1st, 2023, as a projection moving through the year, I still don't see it with this Michigan team. I don't see this as a turning point of the season or anything like that. I think this Michigan team is what we thought they were before the game. And I guess all this did was solidify that they're alive.
Now I'm all the way in on that take.
Hang the banner.
I am all the way in on that take. I agree wholeheartedly. I love this. Now I can go off on that. I'm in. I think what I intended to come in with this video and have the agenda be was my stance that this was a super impressive result, but any Michigan fans that want to jump in and be like, we're back, everything is solved. No, sir. That's not the case.
No,
this is
bad Michigan fans.
This is still like, I think this game is much more about what Maryland is than what Michigan is. And I give Michigan credit because Michigan finally did fix the effort concerns. That wasn't all they fixed. Juwan Howard had his best rotation patterns he's had all season. Most of the time that Juwan Howard has been making substitutions this year, he has done hockey-style lineup switches where he has too many bench guys in at once. Tonight, he did a lot more overlapping with starters. It really, really benefited this team. You saw signs of life from everybody. We've criticized Hunter Dickinson a ton. I mean, again, it's Maryland. You expect Hunter Dickinson to show up against Maryland, but you still have to give him credit for doing it. He had 10 points before the first media timeout, finished with 32 and 12. The game was never in question. They were up 17-0. Like, sorry, I have the hiccups while I'm trying to talk through this. But
oh god, no.
Yeah, we don't want the hiccups. Cart, for this result though, like a 35-point win on a night that Jet Howard shoots 1 for 7, on a night that Kobe Buffkin gets you 5 points, like that sort of means something at least, right? Because we came on here a week ago and said like Michigan has 3 players. They have to have all 3 guys be great to even have a chance. And tonight, at least offensively scoring wise, they didn't get much from Jet and Kobe. I thought Kobe was great as a player today, but like Michigan proved that it can win without offense from everybody. We've said they had to outscore teams. Tonight, they locked down a Maryland team. And that is something, I think. But yeah, not everything's fixed. I think that's more about who Maryland is than who Michigan is, right?
Yeah. Okay. So let's take this angle because I feel like we do this whenever we talk a Big Ten team. To me, Michigan coming into this game was, pretty bottom of the Big Ten for me. Like it was, you have those bottom teams that we mention every single episode, and then, probably Michigan's right above those bottom teams. Is this a team that can be a top half of the Big Ten conference?
That can be, absolutely. I think I would have said that even after the Central Michigan game. The question is, will they be? And I don't know. It's tough. At this point, I think I would, if I had to bet, will they finish over or under 500? I think given where they're at right now, I would choose over. Look, we can say all we want about like what teams should win or lose games. Like we think that Illinois should win this conference. Illinois is 0-2 in the Big Ten right now. We think that Michigan should lose a lot of games. They're 2-0 in the league right now. So like, I know it's young. There's 18 games left in the schedule. Everything can flip immediately. But like the fact that Michigan has held serve matters. They've got a game at home before they go to the Brez. We both expect Michigan State to win the game at the Brez. We'll be there for it. But they got a game at home against a Penn State team we both love. And if Michigan's able to win that game at home, they're 3-0 in Big Ten play. Like that matters. Whether we say this Michigan team is bad and they shouldn't win these games, if they're sitting there at 3-0 going into the Brez, like that's, I don't know how you look at that and be like, this team's not going to be in the conversation at least, like.
Yeah, I just feel myself looking at this Michigan team and not even based on like results of what I've seen is that no matter what was going on, like Hunter Dickinson being the dominant force that he is would get them to a certain point. And I don't think that, I don't really know how to put this necessarily. At this point, he's had too many stretches where he hasn't been a dominant force, where last year I think it was a little bit more far and in between. And because of his like non-dominant performances, it's I don't know. I'm kind of tripping on my words of where I want to go with this, but I thought that Hunter Dickinson I thought this team would have a floor because of Hunter Dickinson, and that floor is a lot lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think that's fair. 100%. I think the floor in the non-conference, the results are way lower than I expected for this Michigan team. I guess what I would say is when comparing like, oh, we think Hunter's had more stretches that have been bad, that's also accurate. But we also just watched Hunter last year essentially flip a switch and decide to be dominant and take a team from the bubble to in the tournament to the Sweet 16. Like Hunter for the last month of last season tore through Big Ten play and dragged this team to the second weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if he's going to do that? But you have to at least say like tonight's game is a pretty good sign that the dude can still do that. Like, I don't know. It's just like he set the tone 10 points before the first media timeout. He was engaged defensively. Everybody was engaged defensively for the first time all season. And even despite like, if you would have told me again, Jet and Kobe scored a combined 11 points tonight, I'm like, Michigan loses by 20. So the fact that Michigan's now able to win a game without points from those two, that has to mean something. Like maybe who knows if it really is just effort. Like one actual strategic adjustment that was made tonight, Michigan's zone defense, they go to zone sometimes. They pulled out more of a 1-2-2 zone that I've never seen from Michigan before. It's always been a true 2-3. Tonight was a 1-2-2. Like, again, I gave Juwan Howard credit for the substitution patterns. Like, he has changed things. Whatever he said to get this defense to come out and play the way they did today and have a schematic adjustment with a different zone and have different substitution patterns where Jace Howard didn't play. Like, I mean, you just called him a bad coach a little bit ago. Like, he's kind of answering the bell. He's been bad this season, and he made a lot of changes that I think led Michigan to this result tonight that deserves some credit.
Yeah, and I guess I just didn't expect to come into this episode and just, give Michigan all this credit, but I guess I kind of just got to give it where it's due. They had to bounce back in this game, so I'm not giving the team that much credit because, like, literally they should have bounced back and won this basketball game. Like, you aren't as a team that has a pulse. Technically, like, you shouldn't come back and just roll. You have to win this basketball game. It was tailored for you to win this game. Everything underlying storylines with Hunter and Maryland, like all this was perfect, tailor-made for you to win this basketball game. But they did win the basketball game, and you know me, I'm all for coaches that make adjustments because there's nothing that pisses me off more than coaches that just go through doing the same shit and lose basketball games and don't make adjustments. So, I guess credit to them for doing that. But we're gonna see if this is like this next 2-game stretch for them. I think we're really, really gonna see who this Michigan team is. I think I know what they are, but I think we'll really be able to see who they are after these next 2 games.
What do you think Michigan finishes in Big Ten play? 2-0 right now.
Eighth?
I want record-wise.
Oh, record?
Yeah.
I mean,
20 games. They're 2-0.
20 games. And they could, there's a world where they could find themselves at the end of this week 4-0 weekend. 4-0.
I think if you are Michigan, you are hoping for a split this week. And I know, like, you're playing Penn State at home. I think you obviously hope you win that game, but again, I think Penn State's great. I think Penn State's a top 4 team in this conference. Michigan.
So let's call it 3-1 at the end of this weekend.
I think if Michigan's 3-1 at the end of this weekend, you got to be ecstatic as a Wolverine fan.
20-game schedule. I think Michigan finishes.
Can I just actually, now that we're like looking at this though, 7-13.
Yeah.
You think they go 5-13 from here on out?
I just don't understand why we're throwing out everything that this Michigan team did before this goddamn Maryland game. I mean, this is wild to me.
Can I read their next month of games?
Yes. And every single game you read me, they could lose.
And every single game they could win.
And they could also lose.
Right, but it's the likelihood's going to be in the middle. 5-13 is crazy, Cart. Like, Nebraska wins 5 games some years.
I didn't say 5-13.
From here on out, you said if they're going to win 7 total games, they're going to go 5-13 from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm with you on like on paper, this Michigan team shouldn't be good. They're 2-0 in conference play, dude. Like,
Okay, but also if they go
why are
5
we
and
acting
13,
like they're 0
if
and
they go 5
2?
and 13, are you like I should go play the lottery because this is something that shouldn't happen?
I don't see a world where Michigan goes 5 and 13 down the stretch of
Well,
this.
you need to check your world. I see one.
Oh, we are so far off on how we view Michigan State. We might just be being pure fanboys at this point. But like, just tell me through this next month, tell me where these wins and losses come from. If they're losing 13 more games, tell me where they come from this stretch. Home against Penn State could be a loss for sure. At Michigan State should be a loss. At Iowa, who is winless in Big Ten play right now.
Loss.
Home to Northwestern.
Win.
At Maryland, who Hunter Dickinson has dominated and I don't think ever lost to.
Win.
Home to Minnesota. Like, they already beat Minnesota at the barn by 30. So you're telling me through that next stretch of 6 games, home to Penn State, home to Northwestern, home to Minnesota, at Maryland, who they've dominated, and at
okay.
Iowa, who's
I
last in the
apologize.
Big Ten?
I apologize. Relax.
Just like 5 and 13's nuts, man.
Relax.
Like this team almost beat Virginia, almost beat Kentucky. I know almost doesn't matter, but you're acting like they're Northwestern. They're not.
So what are you saying they're finishing?
I think at this point, they're 5, like the worst case scenario for Michigan.
Are they finishing over 500 in the Big Ten?
I think the worst case scenario for Michigan in the Big Ten this year is, if I'm being honest, worst case 9 and 11. Given that they're 2-0, I think the worst case is 9 and 11. I think it's at this point really likely they go 500 or above, which is not a hang the banner moment. This team should be good. That's where I'm coming from with all of this. The fact that in the preseason this team was ranked highly and we think they have talent, it's true because Kobe Buffkin's playing great and Jet Howard is a first round pick and Hunter Dickinson could be an All-American if he played well. But like they've been horrible and I'm happy to talk about that. We've talked about it for a month, but when they flip a switch and are good, we can't act like this team has no ceiling and they're a 7 and 13 team. Like that's just insanity to me. Like that they've played good teams close. Almost doesn't matter. I get that. But like
played good teams close, also lost to bad teams.
They've played up and down to every team on their schedule until today against Maryland. And again, this is the first game Juwan has made significant strategic adjustments.
So yeah, they did it for one game. I guess we'll see.
So what I guess it's just wait and see. I think we did this with Michigan State last year. There was our wait and see team. Michigan's the wait and see team this year. So what happens if Michigan beats Penn State? I'm assuming you don't think that's going to happen. If Michigan beats Penn State, what does that mean?
That that means I'm too low on Michigan.
Okay. So we'll revisit after Penn State because we both agree Penn State's a really good team.
Okay. So where do you have Michigan State? You said 9-11?
I think that's the worst case scenario.
9-11 tournament team, obviously, or 9-11.
If they go 9-11, they're not making the tournament. I think I mean, man, they lost.
So this team stinks then.
Listen,
Greg, if they miss the NCAA tournament, they stink.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So like
I don't think they will. I don't think they will miss the NCAA tournament.
Oh, okay. Well, you just told me 9-11 doesn't get them in.
They're not going 9-11. I said that's the worst case scenario.
Okay. My apologies.
The worst case scenario is 9-11. If that happens, of course, they have 16 losses at that point. You don't make the tournament with 16.
I'm also done saying my apologies. I'm not apologizing when I'm in my own goddamn house anymore.
Michigan needs to go 12-8 to make the NCAA tournament. They need to go 12-8 in Big Ten play. They are 2-0. That's a great start.
There's a greater chance that they don't go 12-8 than they do go 12-8.
All right. So do you want to have a bet? You want to have a bet on if Michigan makes tournament? You know, it's usually not wise to bet with me.
So I need odds on that.
They're currently projected not to make the tournament. So I don't know why you need odds.
I'll make a bet with you that Michigan ends this Big Ten weekend 2-2.
Okay, I'll take that bet. I think they're going to beat Penn State.
Okay.
It's a fascinating conversation that we're not having right now. But again, Penn State's center is 6'7".
Okay.
Maryland's center was 6'8", and Hunter had 32. Like, how's Penn State guarding Michigan?
Central Michigan center is like 6'9".
Hunter didn't show up. So is Hunter guarding himself at home against Penn State?
Honestly, any game that I talk about with Michigan, I'm good because there's a 50-50 chance Hunter doesn't show up.
I forgot. You're not afraid of Hunter. We talked about that in depth on Unscripted.
I'm not afraid of Hunter tipping the scale on winning or losing basketball games.
He tipped the scale tonight. He was the scale tonight.
That's good. That's good for him. So what would you like to bet?
Oh, man. Well, we're going to be on site for College Hoops to Go in East Lansing at Graduate East Lansing, staying overnight. So anybody who listens to this that might be at that game, come say hello to us. We'll try and meet up with everybody. But I think it should have to be something that needs to be done probably on camera as part of that show, right? Like, let's say if Michigan, which I think they're going to get the Penn State game, but if Michigan loses to Penn State, then whoever wins or loses the Michigan State game would have something to do, which would be a fun part of the episode. So
see, this is where your dual fanship kills me because, like, me wearing a Michigan hat out or something would be the ultimate killer. I throw you a State hat, you're just gonna get a fit off and be good.
I mean, I'm go green, go white, Spartan graduate, my dog. I got
Woof,
the
woof.
degree. I got the degree. Woof woof, man. I'll put it on. Tell me what you need from me. Yeah, I kind of like that. I can bring you a Michigan shirt if you want to put a Michigan shirt on.
Okay, we'll figure.
Actually, I'll tell you what I want. You can decide what you want from me. Here's what I want from you. If Michigan wins one of the next two games, you have to tweet and tag Hunter Dickinson and publicly praise him.
Okay.
And I get to write the tweet.
Okay. If I win the bet, I want you to eat like Terrace Reed for a day.
Deal.
Okay. Hope you got a Golden Corral in Kalamazoo.
Yes, that's how I know you didn't watch the game, because Terrace had a nice Boogie Cousins crossover finish through traffic today that you would have really liked.
I definitely like it. I'm always a fan of fat post players.
You're a fan of big men that can move a little bit. Terrace.
I'm a fan of heavy set post players.
Terrace had a move today.
Like I've been saying since he stepped on campus, Golden Arch, St. Louis, Eddie Curry is tough.
I don't think you've said that before.
I have. You just don't listen to me.
That's not true at all. I feel like there's a lot of animosity right now.
It is.
I hate rivalry week.
I hate these Michigan episodes because all it takes is one game for you to forget everything that happened.
I'm not forgetting anything that happened.
I think you are. I think you have hope, and you didn't have hope before.
I do have hope, and I think you acting like hope should not come about after a 35-point win to go to 2-0 in the conference, tied for first place, is crazy. You're sitting here talking about Michigan State, who's 1-1, tied for 9th right now, like they're a lock. Like they're a lock top.
They're not a lock, but man, I hate this new world that we live in. That we're 2-0 in the Big Ten is just something just to fucking write home about.
It's better than 1-1, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You know what the difference between 2-0 and 1-1 is?
One loss.
A loss to Northwestern at the Breslin Center, a Northwestern team that's currently down 30 points to Ohio State.
Northwestern beat Central Michigan this year. Actually, fun fact, by 27.
It's impressive stuff, man.
I made that up.
Listen, unfortunately for Michigan, I can say with definitiveness that they will not win the MAC championship this year. But looking all right in the Big Ten right now.
I just can't wait for our next Michigan React episode where your tone changes and you recognize what this team actually is.
It seems like there's a lot at stake in East Lansing.
Rivalry weekend's underway. God damn it.
Hey, but Michigan has nothing to lose, according to you. They're horrible.
Yeah, they're the underdogs. Woof woof.
They're horrible. I mean, this should be a 20-point blowout win for Michigan State. I mean, shit, man. It might be like the Buffalo game. That's their first 20-point win.
Oh, Gregory. Talking about your daily picks. Go ahead and throw Michigan State, whatever the spread is in that game.
What do you think? Actually, genuinely, hate aside here, what do you think the spread will be that game?
It'll be 3.
I'm thinking it's 7. I think it's
really
Michigan State -7. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think Vegas is going to want the public to bet Michigan. and they'll put a pretty big number out there, and I will not fall for it. I will take Michigan State minus the points in this spot.
You're such a heady better.
I'm just saying. Like I can say Michigan has hope, and I can also say Michigan will lose this game to Michigan State. I do believe that.
Okay.
They gotta get Penn State for me to get my tweet from you.
And they won't. It'll be 2-2. I'll tell you that.
All right, Cart. Well,
congrats on the win today, by the way. Congrats on having a pulse.
I think this TCU result has really invigorated your hate for all things Michigan, because this was a tense episode.
I did not punch Mo Wagner. I did not lose to CMU. I did not lose to TCU. If you don't want me to comment on those things, don't do it. Don't let it happen.
Don't make the college football playoff next time. Got it. We'll report that back to Michigan football program. We'll see if they can listen to that. Look, this is a different episode than the CMU one, but it seems you are evaluating Michigan after the CMU loss still. So can I at least send you the Matthew Loves Ball highlights? Will you promise me you'll watch those?
Yes.
Okay. I just want your thoughts again. Because we kind of did this with Kobe a couple weeks ago. You were like, nah, Kobe stinks. He's going to play at Ferris. And then you were like, oh, never mind. I saw some clips.
I took that back.
Yeah, I know. So like, you might take this back too, is my point. Like, we'll see. All right, Cart. I'll see you in East Lansing in a week, my friend. Are we all right? I don't like this. Are you firing me? Are you kicking me off?
Nah, just let me. I'm feeling my own hate right now. Let me rock.
Okay. I mean, you know that I love your hate more than most things on this planet. So
wait, hold on. I know what I want. Stop the episode. I know what I want. If you go 2-2.
What?
I need you to have your nails painted for a week.
Can I paint what I want on them?
Yes.
Okay. Deal.
Okay.
Hunter Dickinson tweet versus I paint my nails for a week.
Yep.
Great bet. All right. Cart, I will see you in East Lansing. Have a great week, my friend. Good luck to Michigan State in what you termed as the trap game of all trap games against Nebraska this week. Listen to Unscripted. That's coming out Monday. And more to come from Sleepers Media soon.
Go Blue.